Time now for your forewarned weather with Cedric Haynes.
All right, happy Wednesday, everyone. Let's talk about your weather headlines as we make our way through the middle of the work week. Hopefully your Wednesday's off to a good start. Gusty southwesterly winds. That's going to be the story for us as we go throughout today. Not only is it just going to be windy out there for us, but we're going to also notice that's going to mean warm temperatures returning across the area. So it was pretty warm yesterday with a little bit of a breeze. We'll see a little bit more of a breeze, and I think more of those warm temperatures in the area. Now, with that being said, those winds are ahead of a cold front that's going to be moving our way. It does arrive tonight heading into your Thursday, and that will bring us both changes in terms of the temperatures, which will drop quite a bit, but also we're going to be noticing a chance of at least a little bit of precipitation across the northern third of Utah as we go throughout that time frame. Here's a look at the numbers out there for you. Upper 40s to low 50s here, right up and down the Wasatch Front. We've got 30s over towards the Uintas, near freezing out here towards the eastern sections of the area, and stretching down towards portions of Castle Country. We've got temperatures in the upper 30s in Blanding. Mid 40s from Milford to down into St. George this morning. All right, let's look at the weather map. Here's our next storm system approaching the west coast. You can see it now producing lots of widespread rain along the west coast this morning. In fact, you see these flashing boxes here in Northern California. Those are flash flood warnings that are in effect there. Now, we're not going to be seeing that type of rain as this system moves our way, but it will bring us a little bit of moisture. Now, you're probably also noticing those tan and gold boxes off to our west. We don't have any of those in Utah, but just to our west, we're seeing a lot of those. And those are wind alerts that are in effect as the winds really ramp up ahead of this storm system. So despite not having those, I do expect us to still see some gusty winds this afternoon. So winds, even by late this morning, I think start gusting 15 to 20 miles per hour. And I think by this afternoon, we're looking at those winds gusting over 30 miles per hour in many spots. Some areas could approach 40 mile per hour wind gust, at least briefly, this afternoon. Those winds will help to boost the temperatures, though, and we'll see those highs climbing into the low to mid 70s up and down the Wasatch Front. Now, I'm going to call it record watch out there for us today because the old record high temperature is 75 degrees for Salt Lake City for today. I'm forecasting 73, but you know when those southwesterly winds kick in, sometimes that can help jump those temperatures a little bit more. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go throughout the day. Now let's talk about the rain chances here with this system as it moves our way. So today, during the day, not expecting rain chances, just those gusty southwesterly winds. We'll see some clouds moving in across northern Utah, but overall a pretty nice day. Now, as to get into this evening and tonight, let's say 10, 11 o'clock, we can see a band of rain activity developing here up towards Cache Valley. That will slowly shift from the Ogden Valley down into the Wasatch Front and the Wasatch back during the overnight hours. Now, this will be mainly while we're sleeping tonight. We'll see some of that rain potential coming down here into the Wasatch Front, and in the mountains seeing some of that snow coming down. But notice by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, most of this is out of here, and we're seeing things decreasing as high pressure builds back in. Another weak disturbance in front will drift by to our north that could produce an isolated spotty shower in Cache Valley on Friday. But as far as rainfall totals, about 1/10 of an inch or less on average up and down the Wasatch Front. But you get up towards the Bear River Range, that's where we can see maybe up to 1/4 of an inch. Now, with that being said, in the mountains, especially above about 7,500 feet, we can see a couple of inches of snowfall coming down with this system as it quickly moves through. Otherwise, if you're wondering when could we see a more significant weather system, a more active weather pattern, it's still showing up as we get towards the middle of the month here. It looks like during that time frame, we're going to see troughing developing out towards the west, and that means more precipitation for us. Until then, St. George, upper 70s today. Breezy sunshine will dip it into the low 70s for your Thursday, Friday. The weekend looking pretty good. The Wasatch Front, low 70s with breezy conditions today. That first front knocks us from 73 today to 56 for your Thursday with some of those isolated showers in the morning and maybe a spotty shower chance with that second front on Friday as we stay in the 50s through the weekend. All right, let's get a check on your traffic this morning as we get you out the door. You'll be able to see calm conditions out there on the roads as we start to see daylight. You know, it's a lot earlier this time of the year now that we had the time change, and things are looking pretty good out there as you make your travels. Just know we're starting to see more congestion showing up out there on the roadway, so be aware of that. But as of now, no major accidents or detours to tell you about, so we're looking pretty good on the roads. Let's look at your traffic and weather. Let's get you back over to Matt and Alyssa.